This is my mast cell activation syndrome journey and diagnosis. As long as I can remember, I've had a lot more allergies and reactions to things more than most people. In elementary school, realized that I didn't do well being out in the sun, didn't do well with the heat, and then found myself being allergic to, reactive to all carbonated drinks. Couldn't handle the smell even of coffee and things like that. But as time went on, I would develop a few more allergies, but nothing major. But in around high school, I started having all kind of like stomach ulcer issues and a lot of pain and things like that, and you know, a lot of things that I now know that was related to gluten. Just made it hard. Like I would be able to eat something at one point, and then soon after not. It just like I remember after my dad passing, the one that really started to, as far as gluten reactions. I would go out with a church group, and they would like eat a Mexican restaurant or pizza, and I would think that I would want, and then I suddenly couldn't eat it, and then like I would get really sick and a lot of pain, and nauseated, throw up the food and things like that. So a lot of people just assumed in that I had an eating disorder. I actually was admitted in the hospital and a lot of things like that, and I felt like I was constantly being judged and misunderstood because people thought it was something I was choosing, not just you know just my body. I didn't know what was going on. But anyways, fast forward, I could still eat meat, go out to eat. I was, living life for the most part pretty normal still though, even with the gluten allergies and things like that. But around time of COVID lockdowns and things like that, my husband started getting really sick soon after we found out that he has a pituitary tumor. And around the same time frame, his dad started getting a lot sicker, and we were the caregiver to his parents. His mom didn't control her diabetes and things like that, so she had to have her leg amputated, and there was just a lot of chaos that happened at once. And then I never had any issues at work at any job, like with I got along with everybody at church, this and that, like but yeah, so anyways, I was working at a church, and I was kind of like, hey, I'm a little overwhelmed, and admitted that, hey kid, because I'm trying to balance multiple jobs, being caregiver and this and that, and it's just hard because of COVID. So anyway, so I've got a lot of judgment for asking, saying, hey, we are a little bit over our heads, like, and it wasn't even really financially at that point. It was more just help in general, like a ride, or like, hey, can somebody pick up a medicine and things. Anyways, I understand a lot of people are busy and stuff, but with COVID and me working at church, there's a lot more that I ended up taking on at the same time, to try to help everybody else, while my own world was kind of falling apart. Anyways, his dad ended up passing away, and when that happened, just my life went chaotic. His mom and aunt and them suddenly, they didn't care that I had shellfish allergies and an allergy to like I couldn't handle the smell of the sausage, just some basic things like that. And it just seemed like I would go to work, and people would expose me to fragrances there, and I would get sick, and then I'd come home, and then a lot of the same things. And I never used an EpiPen myself, and then suddenly, like when his dad passed and everything, I literally went from no EpiPens to daily, because his mom would order shellfish and things and then lie about it, and I would walk in and like collapse. And little did I know and realize that with each time that I had these anaphylactic attacks and stuff, that my immune system would get more aggressive, and then I would develop more allergies and more severity of symptoms. I've always had issues with the smell of coffee, but not like anaphylactic. Well, I became like airborne allergy, like sensitive to almost all foods. So like I said, before COVID, I was able to go out to eat, go to movies, do life pretty normally, but it changed drastically in a short time frame. But yeah, so now even just walking, getting hot, too much light, a lot of times even just talking, just things that you would never expect, now my body's reactive to. And they say it's pretty much only because my in-law situation, and then also with that work, with all the changes during COVID and stuff, they had staff changes and volunteers changes, And one of the volunteers that would come every week always wore fragrance, and it was mild fragrance. So, um, I, even though I would ask for accommodations, it was always a problem. And then I would go to staff meetings, and like the coworker and her family would have shellfish there, so I would have anaphylactic reactions. And instead of what you would think for a church, to be like, okay, let's love and support, like, hey, no, it was like, oh, I shouldn't ask and I shouldn't expect to have a shellfish free, safe, fragrance free, safe work environment. So, anyways, they would always say that they have enough issues with that newer coworker that not to add to it, because there's already so many HR issues. And it was just like I would try to ignore it and try to be nice, and like if something triggered me I would walk away and things like that. But it just got so bad that I would have these anaphylactic reactions in front of everybody, and it just kind of like, oh well, look at you. Instead of looking out why was I having these reactions, because love as Christ and not have the shellfish at the meetings. It was just, oh, I had the reactions and oh, it's me type thing. And instead of making awareness and things like that, my medical issues just kept getting worse because of daily reactions. So anyways, now I'm not able to work. I can't go out to eat. If I smell fragrances anywhere, I immediately go anaphylaxis. From a very healthy person to a because allergens are more important. I have little to no quality of life anymore. I have to have injections daily and things like that just to live now. And I could say a lot more, but just this is about to end anyway. So, but yeah, that's pretty much my story.